Hi guys, welcome back to another video. I was lucky enough to be able to go to the Land Forces Trade Expo kind of thing the other day, and it was pretty cool. Got a lot of stuff. I'm gonna make a video on that about all the cool stuff that was in there. But what I'm gonna be doing now is probably the most important thing that I could be doing since my visit. And that is to do a rating on all of the pens that the company's had on offer, because it's obviously the key point to consider when investing in a business. So let's kick things off with the Teletrack Navman. Give that pen a solid test out. It feels alright. It's a little bit skinny for my liking. The ink is a little bit patchy, a little bit. It's all around a solid pen. It's got good build quality, nice click, got a bit of a stylus on the end there. It's a nice looking pen. I give this one probably a B tier rating. So for now, it's going to be just going to be going here. And let's see if anything can beat it. Alright, so next up we've got the Global rotomolding, however you want to say it. Yes, they got an interesting design here for that pen. They got a clicking pen once again with the stylus on the end. Not a bad stylus, but I'm not a fan of having the hole in the middle for the pen. It just looks kind of a bit strange in my opinion. Click isn't the best. It rubs a little bit loose. And as for the writing, let's give it a test. It's not the best. The ink isn't quite as high quality, not as good as the Teletrack pen. So for that reason, it will be underneath the Teletrack pen though. And moving on to the next pen. Alright, the next pen that I'm going to go with is the Avon Protection pen. So pretty standard design. Nothing really that different to the Teletrack Navman pen there, as you can see. This design's pretty recurring, common design in pens. It's got probably an average. It's got a nice click to it, but it's still a little bit loose. You can feel it rubbing when you're sliding it. You can hear it here. Not the most satisfying, but you can definitely take a look here and see that the pen quality is definitely the best so far in terms of writing. Like if you take a look here, that's a nice flow compared to the other ones. It'll be very similar to the first one here. So going back to the Teletrack Navman pen, just clicking this one, the clickiness of this pen puts it ahead of the Avon Protection pen, knocking back the Global rotomolding pen. Alright, so next pen on the list, may as well go with these ones that are not wrapped up. This is how they're presented. So let's take a look here at the Carbonics pen. It's got a nice feel here. It's a really nice pen to hold with this matte kind of finish. A little bit rubbery. It's like textured. Nice looking pen. It's got a nice click to it. I'm not really a fan of the way it clicks, but it's very firm. It's a nice pen. Let's give it a bit of a writing test. And it's definitely got a thicker. It definitely writes thicker than the Nav pen. Don't know if you can tell the difference between these two. As a pen, I think I would be more inclined to use the Carbonics over the Navman. The Navman just feels a little bit cheap. This one, even though this one feels cheap and like light, it feels like a professional pen. So for that reason, it's on top. Moving on now to the Aerospace and Mechanical Consulting Engineers. That pen here is another one of this standard design that we've seen earlier in the Avon pen. This one right here. Pretty similar standard design. Let's give it a bit of a feel. Exactly the same terms of clickiness. Not a bad pen by any means, but let's give it a bit of a writing test. Well, this pen here has a really nice flow of ink, and to be honest, it's got a nicer laydown of the ink than the other pens do, and for that reason, this pen actually, in feel, it would be a close tie with the Navman, but just going back to the Navman, this one feels a little bit more professional, and for that reason, it's going on top. This one here, maybe a little bit more sturdiness in the end, would have got it over the line, but a little stylus on the end. Even though I love the stylus, it's not very practical, and it makes it feel a little bit unprofessional, a bit gimmicky. And for that reason, the Navman has been beaten by the Aerospace Engineering Consultancy pen. So now on to the last of the unwrapped pens. Got another very similar design here to the other pens here. Another very similar design, but this one is noticeably heavier. Yeah, the cubic pen. Noticeably heavier and rounder. It looks very professional. The clickiness is way better than this pen. All three of the the clickiness would be almost better than the clickiness of this one. The build quality of this one is excellent, even though it feels light. This one here feels heavy. The build quality feels pretty great, to be honest. Very close to that one, but in a different way. But the pen here, I think, is a bit of a letdown. I don't think I could write with this one all the time. It's just not the best pen compared to the other options here. And for that reason, even though this pen feels great and looks great, the cubic pen, I don't think I could write with this one as much as this, and this one still feels very different. So for that reason, it's going to be, once again, slotting right into there. And now onto the package pens. We'll go with the Roxtec pen. Let's take a look at this one. Now the Roxtec pen, it's the first one, I believe, with its own grip. So that's good or bad, depending if you like the grip. I personally think the grip is, it looks a little bit cheap, but it does feel nice. It's got good practicality. Not a bad pen in looks. As for clickiness, it's actually surprisingly good. I thought it would be cheap, but it's actually really nice in terms of clickiness. Let's give a bit of a test here. It's a blue pen, first blue pen. And I'm trying to give it a fair test here, but let's take a look at the quality of that print there. Compare that to the quality of these other prints. I think it's pretty close. Just the build quality of this, that feels very clicky. Surpass this one. I don't think it. Oh, it's very close. I think what I'm gonna have to do is, so I've changed my mind on these two. This pen is better than the Carbonics, and this here is better than the Carbonics also. Carbonics is a great pen, but it's not the same kind of pen as these. This is a stylish pen that looks nice and feels nice, but it just doesn't write as nice. These two here just write so much nicer than the Carbonics. So, now that that's settled, moving on to the Tag-Eye Management Consultant's pen. So let's see what they got on offer. Now that we've got this pen out of the package, let's take a look at it. Nice pen all around. It looks like a pretty normal standard pen. The grip isn't as nice as the Roxtec grip. The Roxtec grip is nice and soft. This one is soft, but it's more rubbery and smooth than a soft grip. It feels a little bit cheap in the end. You can hear the end. It's a satisfying click, but it's a bit loose and it rubbed. It doesn't feel very firm of a click. Feels a little bit cheap, but let's take a look at the writing performance. So, not an outstanding pen. Not an outstanding pen, definitely not bad, but I think it's going to be better than the bottom one here, but it's not going to be able to beat the Avon Protection pen in terms of build quality. So it will be slotting in right there. Better. It'll be slotting in right there. So now let's go move on to the, I don't know how you say it, the Newa, N-I-O-A. This pen I've got high expectations for. They were handing out some of the best merch going around, and I'm using their notepad right here, and I've got high expectations for this pen. Now that I've got it out of the packaging, it doesn't look too complicated. It looks like a nice simple pen here in design. It feels nice, good weighting, and it's not a clicking pen. It's the first twist pen. So you twist this, and it's a satisfying twist. In my opinion, it could have a click that would make it feel nicer, but there's nothing wrong with this. It's a very smooth transition. There's absolutely no rub there. It feels nice. The quality of this material is a lot higher. It's a bit hard to pick up on camera, but this is a nice pen. Let's take a quick look at how it writes. And as much as I want to put this at top spot, that's not an awesome result. If you take a look here and take a look at the higher quality pens, we've just got, it's just a bit faded. The ink just isn't as good. Just such a shame, because they've made such good merchandise, and this pen looks amazing, but a bit of a letdown on the ink quality. And for that reason, it's going to be, I would say the ink quality is on par with the Carbonics, and I do prefer this over the Carbonics, but it depends on how you like your pens. So I'm going to put it above the Carbonics, but if you like lighter pens, you're definitely going to want to go with the Carbonics if you're ever at the Expo and need a free pen. So that's my decision on that one. And getting the Westpac pen out of the packaging there, let's take a look at this one. So taking a look at the Westpac pen, it's a very unique pen in design. It's got this like little pattern on the front. As much as it looks cheap on camera, it feels a little bit cheap in terms of weight. In real life, though, it does look nice until you kind of feel it. It feels a little bit cheap, I suppose. It's just not a satisfying click. It feels like it's almost rubbing. It looks nice and like it should click well, but it just kind of doesn't. Let's take a look at the writing capability. Nothing bad, definitely a standard pen, but it's a more, if you like a fine, accurate kind of pen. This one's definitely just for writing down some notes, just real quick, just sketching some stuff. Definitely a mediocre pen, and I would put it below the Avon pen simply because the Avon pen has such a nice feel, and it just lacks that. The Westpac pen. So, moving on to the final pen, we've got the Vipac Engineers and Scientists pen. I've got high expectations. Let's take a look. Unfortunately, not a great start. It looks almost identical to the pens we're seeing here. Similar design, if not exactly the same to that one. Let's take a look. Not a bad pen. It looks nice in person. It's got a nice material. It's got a nice weight. It's not the best, and it's got a really nice ink to it. Not the best ink, but definitely up there. And I think for that reason, I would probably put this by memory above the Navman, but below this one, if not above it. No, and as you can see, it's even gotten stuck. It's not the nicest feeling. It's definitely gonna have to go right here. And that right there is the pen tier list. So these are the top 3 here. And the aerospace pen, definitely the best one there. You can take a look at all 3. The Newa is a little faded, but the ink is still fine, and it's definitely the best feeling pen. I'd say this pen is in the middle ground between these two, and it provides a good solution with the blue ink. But if you've got to go with the black ink and the best ink, I would go with the aerospace consulting. So aerospace and mechanical consulting engineers. If you want some good pens, go straight to these guys and take all their pens. The next guys I would probably take would be the Roxtec guys. Roxtec guys have some great pens. And then if those 2 guys are both out of pens, which is a high possibility, you know, because they're making such high quality products, you might need to hit up Newa. They've got plenty of pens, they're great quality. You'll get a couple notepads, and even though the pen itself isn't the best, it definitely looks very stylish, and you might pick up some other goodies. So that's that's my pen tier list. I hope it helps you guys out, and these guys here, nothing wrong with them, but these 3 definitely come out on top. So hope you enjoyed.